Hi there, I'm Adam Freeman and welcome to DaHungryCouple's Wonk Corner, where I get wonky or a little bit nerdy about the things that I see related to the Golden Visa and other things related to politics and economics around Portugal. For those of you who did not see our blog post, Portugal's Golden Visa, on again, off again, we're bringing that to you right now and with a little bit of discussion. Here we go. Sometimes it's possible that there's just too much of a good thing. Take, for instance, the fact that the Golden Visa in Portugal has brought in roughly 5 billion euros in investment since 2012. The country desperately needed that influx, yet now that Portugal's posted 1% GDP budget surplus, their debt to GDP ratio has become much more moderate, manageable. Various bond agencies have continued to upgrade Portugal, and fiscal targets are generally looking pretty good. A new policy was passed showing that members of parliament seem to be considering ways to keep the good times rolling while attempting to safeguard the financial safety of Portuguese citizens. You see, with a minimum wage of 635 euros per month, the lowest in Europe, the purchasing power of the average Portuguese is not exceptionally high. Further, bear in mind, those who already owned a property or properties in the major cities have already been able to capitalize on the increasing value of prices per meter squared. So some even sold their property and bought a farm outside the city. Not everybody has benefited though, so several citizens have either been forced from their homes or have simply been unable to maintain the quality of life that they had before the Golden Visa program ushered in this new group of investors with significant access to capital. So it absolutely makes sense that Parliament would review the program and how it's implemented. Mistakes in the rollout of investment in Lisbon are a black stain on this program, and several policymakers have worried whether Portugal has opened up their economy to money launderers from abroad. Even more, policymakers fear the increase of income and wealth inequality that the program seems to be influencing. In fact, various political parties have been calling for public housing options and strenuously put forward efforts to limit the amounts of investment allowable, especially since an increase in inequality has reared its ugly head with no visible signs of abating. So the new policy, excluding Porto and Lisbon from Golden Visa investment, the reporting of which was released on February 5th, 2020, aims to promote investment in low-density regions. The argument, I think, is that the investment in Portugal's major cities has already been kickstarted and that further Golden Visa investments will only continue to spur real estate speculation, thereby increasing the gap between those with the opportunity to invest and those who may or may not have been taken advantage of by this system. In my view, the policy is in line with the socialist policies that the country is run on and is a check instituted to diminish class inequality, which is good thing. However, for potential investors, the exclusion of the two largest municipalities in the country presents two considerations. One, rush for an investment in Lisbon or Porto now, because before that policy is fully implemented. Or two, consider a non-urban area which may be cheaper and allow for a quality of life investment rather than solely basing the decision on return on income. Let's talk about municipalities like Setúbal, Braga, Guimarães, right? All of these communities are within reasonable distance to a major airport, or in the case of Setúbal, within proximity of Lisbon's future airport. Another blog post probably coming up about that soon. Doesn't look so good. All of those areas have elements of tourism that attract differing types of people. They also have plenty of dilapidated buildings that could use refurbishment, and they're roughly 30 minutes away from the largest cities in Portugal. Therefore, there are options that are not solely limited to extreme rural locations. Further, places like Matosinhos and Vila Nova de Gaia, located just outside the municipality of Porto and accessible by Porto Metro, are still available for investment. Now, they offer proximity to the center of Porto and are typically, they host larger flats than the Porto city center. These areas are not excluded from the Golden Visa investment program. So the headline that parliamentarians have completely excluded urban development is a bit misleading. It seems that in some cases, they've simply shifted the goalposts. Of course, you wouldn't know this unless you're on the ground here in Portugal. So I want to address an article of February 5th, 2020 in the South China Morning Post stating that the Golden Visa program is anything but golden. If you believe everything in this article, you've got a recipe for perceived instability that can make the option of investing in Portugal feel a bit wonky. There are impediments to proper investments that can arise in the market here. However, with enough research, time, and the willingness to dismiss overly aggressive opportunists, of which there are many, it is possible to find honest people who stick to their word, put forward a quality product, and are willing to take the time to make sure all necessary documentation and standards are considered. It just takes time. Now, the article is not so much an outlier as it is a warning to those who think that doing business in a bureaucratic country like Portugal will be pain-free. It won't. I'll repeat that. It will not. However, it's manageable. So here is my definitive opinion. In the face of wanton opportunity, which I'll probably write about in another article, the majority of people cannot be trusted. I knew that if we didn't oversee this project and this process ourselves, that some unscrupulous character would try to cheat us. I knew that if they'd try to cheat us even if we were here, on the ground, managing our project. Yet, we consistently pushed people away that have this stench of opportunism and sometimes desperation, and instead focused on building a community that operates at a level of honesty and quality. So be aware, there are plenty of remaining opportunities here still, but it's extremely difficult to know who to trust. So I'll make a statement. Even though a portion of our livelihood is tied to the property market and our interest in facilitating investment through Portugal's Golden Visa program, we refuse to wander the path of opportunism. We refuse. We've established standards for the people with which we work, and we are dogged in the pursuit of quality and return on investment. Even though the process is incredibly slow, we believe the benefits that investing in this part of the world provides are more than enough to answer affirmatively were we to reconsider the investment again. We certainly hope to show that to those who would consider using our consultancy services, regardless of where their Portugal property investment may take place, an investment in Portugal is an opening of the mind. I want to say that again. An investment in Portugal is an opening of the mind, as much as it is an increasement in overall revenue and income. Consider that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. We're going to have more of these kinds. This is the first in our series. I'm kind of super excited about it because it allows me to wonk out. So, all right, until next time.